The last video was getting a little longer than I liked it to be. I decided to do a part 2 to show examples of what you might find in these chancery records. It appears to me that these are cases where a law hasn't been broken, but a court is needed to correct an issue such as guardianship, land ownership, debt, etc. Okay, just to review, I'm in the Chancery Records Index. I have put in Amelia County and the last name of Thompson, and I'm going to do a search. So it comes up with Amelia County, and I have Robert. I'm going to review this one about Robert Thompson and executors of Robert Thompson. The first example I want to show is for Robert Thompson as plaintiff and executors for Robert Thompson. The defendant is obviously deceased because it is the executors of his estate that this case is against. It is in the county of Amelia, and it is taking place in 1798. Before we look at the actual record, I want to point out that I am searching for one of my great-grandfather's parents. My great-grandfather is John Thompson. I first find him living in Pennsylvania, Virginia for about 10 years near the family of Samuel Thompson and Jennings Thompson, who is one of Samuel's sons. Jennings is one of Samuel's sons. About 1820, John Thompson moves from Pennsylvania, Virginia to Kentucky about the same time and to the same area as two of Samuel Thompson's sons, William and Watty Thompson. Watty Thompson is also mentioned in John's will. John is not listed in the will of Samuel Thompson, but I feel certain he is closely related to this family because he lives so close to the family. Since I know that Samuel's family was in Amelia County, Virginia before moving to Pennsylvania, I decided to search in Amelia County to see if I could find any records on my great-grandfather John Thompson. Since this next record listed of Robert Thompson is only 1 year after the other record with Jennings and Samuel Thompson, I thought I would take a look at it. Let's see what I find out. These documents are not always easy to read, but looking for names and relationships is important. On page 4 of this document, we learn that Robert Thompson has a son named Robert Thompson and that his guardian is John Folks, Jr. We also see that Robert Thompson, late of this county, is deceased. Still on page 4, we find more names. Jennings Folks, William Jennings, John Folks Jr., there's the guardian of Robert, Henry Folks, in parentheses it says hereafter called defendants. Still on page 4, we learn that Robert's wife is Mary Thompson. Next, it says should be with child, which perhaps may be the case. It appears that Mary is in the early stages of pregnancy. Next, we see that it says, if any of my children. So Robert has other children. Last, we see Mary Thompson's name again. On page 5, we learn another child's name. Legatees are infants, meaning under the age of 21. Her name is Sally Thompson, and she is intermarried with Benjamin Borum. So Sally is one of Robert's daughters, and she is married to Benjamin Borum. I went searching on Family Search and found Benjamin Borum married to Sally Thompson. I see that they were married in 1788 in Amelia County. I also noticed that Sally is listed as being born in 1767. The court record is in 1789. That means Sally is about age 21 to 22 years of age, thus becoming of age to receive her portion of her father's estate. I am sure this is the same Sally mentioned in this court record, but she had no father listed. I went ahead and added Robert Thompson as her father. On page 9, we have Benjamin Borum and Sally, his wife, mentioned again. The said Sally, her father, Robert Thompson, deceased. This page reaffirms that Sally is the daughter of Robert Thompson. On page 11, we see that Robert Thompson, the son, has a guardian named John Folks. We also see the names of the executors of Robert Thompson, who has died. The executors are Jennings Folks, William Jennings, John Folks, and Henry Folks, executors of Robert Thompson, who is deceased. While searching for some families with the last name of Jennings in Amelia County in Family Search, I came across this page. There is a Robert Thompson married to Mary Folks. She has a sibling named John Folks. Remember that Robert's guardian, his son's guardian, is John Folks. Here are the executors listed on page 11. Notice that Mary also has a brother named Jennings and one named Henry. Also notice that her mother's maiden name is Jennings. Not shown on this slide, but I see in Family Search that Sarah Jennings has a brother named William Jennings, the same name as one of the executors of the will of Robert Thompson. At this point, I believe that Robert Thompson, that's married to Mary Folks, is also the same as Robert Thompson with the daughter Sally Thompson, married to Benjamin Borum. I decided to combine Robert Thompson, married to Mary Folks, with Robert Thompson, father of Sally Thompson. Now on page 13, we read, a lot unto Nancy Thompson, daughter of Robert Thompson. Here we learn of another daughter, Nancy. She is to receive a Negro lad named Stamp, 70 pounds, and a horse at 8 pounds shillings, and a saddle and bridle at 3 pounds. They have also deducted the amount that is still due to her brother Robert Thompson. Further down on page 13, we learn Molly Jennings is a daughter of Robert Thompson. Molly's husband is Abraham. Molly receives a Negro boy named Jerry, 60 pounds, a horse, 8 pounds, 10 shillings, and a saddle and a bridle, and 3 pounds, and her portion to go to her brother Robert has been deducted. I added Nancy and Molly as children of Robert Thompson. I don't know their ages, but I have given approximate dates. Since they are both receiving their inheritance, I am assuming they are older than Sally, since she just became of age to receive her inheritance. I want to show this slide again. From my records, Samuel Thompson's wife's maiden name is Jennings. They named their son Jennings Thompson because of her maiden name. Now, after going through this document of Robert Thompson, I'm fairly certain that these two families are somehow closely related. I have more research to see if I can find the names of Robert's other children. My great-grandfather, John Thompson, was born about 1757. This would be the right time frame to possibly be the son of Robert Thompson. I also need to see if I can find a relationship between Robert Thompson and Samuel Thompson. There's always more to learn, but we see that these Chancery records help me fill in some information on Robert Thompson, who died in Amelia County in Virginia. In the first video on Chancery records, I showed how I took each image and added it to a Word document. Then I transcribed each image. Then I created a PDF to upload it into Family Search. There are 18 pages for Robert Thompson. I do not want to take the time right now to transcribe the document, so I looked online for a free merge program. I used Adobe. It gives you a free trial. I was able to do 3 different PDF merges before they required me to sign up for a free trial. I still had one more and found another company that did the same. There were quite a few different ones. They're easy to use. If you know of a free service without having to pay, please leave a link in the comment section. Here are the steps I used. Download the file from the Chancery Records. It comes as a zipped file. Double-click on the file to see the individual PDFs. I created a new file folder and put all the individual files in it. I then went to the Adobe Merge page. I selected the files. It would not allow me to select the zip file. I had to put the individual files into a new folder. I then clicked on Merge. In less than a minute, the files were all merged. I then clicked Download the file. Here is the result. I then uploaded this PDF file to Robert Thompson's Memories in Family Search. So I want to show you here on Robert Thompson how I've got the memory. It's the Chancery Records here. Once it was uploaded, I went in to edit the title because it gives it this the name of the file as the title, and so I clicked edit and changed that to Chancery Record for Robert Thompson. I also put in the description where I found this record. So as you upload different records, make sure that if you know something about it that you give a description or the place. So here I could say Virginia, United States, and save that. The date of the event, let me think. I've got Robert here. I'll have to go back and look so I get the date. Oh, here it is. It was 1783 is when he died. It was after that. 1798. There it is right there. So 1798. Anyway, so go ahead and put in the information that you want in there. That gives it a little bit more of a description. Now, just to give you a little bit of background on him, let me go back to Robert Thompson. After finding this Chancery record, I thought, oh, I really want to know if my John Thompson is one of his sons. So I went and found wills. I found the will of Robert Thompson, and in that I found all of his children and found that there is no John. He has a lot of sons, but one is not John. So this is not my great-grandfather's family. But I do think he is related because I also found the will of Samuel Thompson in Louisa County, and that is the father of Samuel Thompson that's in Pennsylvania that my John was near, that I thought he was part of this family. But Robert is listed as one of his sons. So I found Robert's family, and he does happen to have a brother named John. Anyways, there's quite a few sons in Samuel's family that I can try to follow and see if my John belongs to one of Robert's, if he's one of his nephews. Anyway, so I was able to find that because of looking at the Chancery records. Then it made me look more into it, and so I have attached those records because they are in Family Search. And I also put the dates in. I really like having my dates in there, and you just go here and it says to edit, and then you put in the date on there, and then it puts it in chronological order for you if you have that marked. Anyways, I will go on to another example, but I hope you see that those Chancery records really did give me a lot of information, and then because I knew what I did, I was able to go on and find other records that gave me more information. So now here's the family of Robert and Mary Folks is what I found, and he has a son William and a son Robert and lots of daughters, and there's more to find on these children here. I went through Robert Thompson's case file in detail. I hope you could follow it. The following are just examples of other cases found in Pennsylvania County, Virginia. Here are the reasons for these court cases. A property debt between Jeremiah and Mr. Fallon. Division of property. This one was kind of interesting. Jennings Thompson and Mr. Wyatt owned property in a town, and they were going to divide it up between the two of them, but it hadn't happened when Mr. Wyatt passed away, and the land went to his daughter Catherine, who was an infant. So Jennings Thompson is bringing this to court to try to get this property divided between Catherine Wyatt and Jennings himself. The next one is a guardianship, which I have covered in other videos. This one is for payment of a horse. William Thompson bought the horse from Jesse Thompson, and he paid him part of the money, and then he left the state of Virginia. And so Jesse Thompson is trying to take this to court to see if they can help find William Thompson and get the rest of his money. This one had to do with issue of land ownership. And Miss Sarah, her husband had passed away. He'd owned the land, he'd sold it to somebody, and they'd sold it to somebody else. Anyways, Patsy Thompson ends up inheriting it from her husband, who passed away. And there was an issue on making sure, I guess, that it was properly paid for and in the right name. This one was a dispute over borrowed money. And this one was a dispute over the will of a deceased husband. The executors had sold 600 acres that shouldn't have been. They were supposed to be land that was to be kept to Tabitha and only used if all the other debts couldn't be paid, but the executors went ahead and sold it. I think, I didn't read all of it, but I think she's saying that she should receive all of the money for that because they shouldn't have sold it. They were to receive some portion of the other sales for their expenses, but it had been sold. I don't think she could get it back, but anyways, that was what the dispute on that one was. Anyways, quite interesting to go through these. The hardest problem is just reading the documents. Basically look for names, and then where the names are, kind of decide what the case is about. And if you need help getting somebody to help read them, there's always somebody around who can read cursive. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the Chancery Records of Virginia. Happy hunting!